Whenever I'm over in Germany, there are a few things from back home in Scotland that I do miss. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the 8 things that I love to import from Scotland. Starting off with probably an obvious one, that being Irn-Bru. Now, Irn-Bru is my favourite soft drink, beverage, soda, whatever you want to call it in your country. We tend to call it juice or ginger if you're through the West. But Irn-Bru, you basically can't get anywhere apart from the UK. And sadly, nowhere over here in Germany seems to sell it, so we do have a website that we go to. If I can remember that, I will leave it in the description, but we tend to get that imported. It's pretty tough to take in a suitcase. You don't exactly want that going pop and going everywhere in the suitcase. Irn-Bru is just one of those things, it's one of those drinks that I grew up with as a child. It's always just there. It's a favourite. I gotta have it. It tastes like home. The only way to describe it. And what else tastes like home, and that is haggis. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I'm one of those people who absolutely love haggis. I cannot get enough of it. If I'm having a breakfast, like we're going to be discussing later on this list, haggis has got to be on it. I don't know if you've tried haggis if you're watching this, but usually we will get a couple tins of haggis. Well, yes, it's not the fresh stuff. It is still just as good, and the closest we can get from having the fresh stuff, because you can't get it here. So haggis, must have. Following on from haggis, I would have to say shortbread. Now this one isn't I can't get it here. I do know some places sell shortbread. It's not too common, but I have seen it kicking about. But my goodness, is it expensive. Like, really expensive. You're talking the stuff you can get in Tesco for a couple quid. You're paying 8+ euros over here, and it's not even the good stuff, shall we say, like the Walkers or anything like that. Shortbread is one of those that I don't bring all the time, but when I'm feeling fancy. Like, say it's like Christmas or there's a party, New Year in particular. I know we brought some for New Year just there, but yeah, shortbread it's just one of those. Again, it just reminds me of home, reminds me of childhood. Another sweet one coming up, and we've got Tunnock's products. More precisely, Tunnock's tea cakes and Tunnock's caramel wafers. Now, if you've never had a tea cake or a caramel wafer, you're missing out big time. They're so simple. I'll start with the tea cake. It's basically like a biscuit base filled with like marshmallowy cream, and then got a dome of chocolate over the top. I do know that in Germany there's a thing, I don't know if it's the brand or the actual product, but it's called like Super Dickmanns, which is kind of just, it's very, very similar, but it's just not got that same taste. I don't know how to describe it, but that's kind of like the closest comparison you could get. And again, it's having the tea cake in particular is the thing. And then you go on to the caramel wafer, it's literally in the name. You've got like thin layers of wafer with caramel kind of mixed in through it, and then that's all wrapped in chocolate. And it is so simple, but it's just great. It's a bit like a lot of the things on this list. A lot of them are super simple, but they're just great and remind me of home. I thought I would put this one in as well, and the reason for putting this all together, I kind of probably should have included haggis in this, but it is the full Scottish breakfast. I was going to do like each individual item, but there's no point. Let's just put it all into one. Now, full Scottish is very similar to what most of the world would know as a full English breakfast. Apart from this full Scottish breakfast, you get a little bit more. More in particular, haggis, as we've previously mentioned, square sausage, which is just, Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not 100% sure on the difference, but my brain says a tatty scone, a potato scone, as it's technically called, but a tatty scone. It's basically a flat, I don't even know how to describe it. It just tastes great. As long as it's cooked correctly, you can go really wrong with a tatty scone. Because if you fry it too long, it just goes really hard and like, ugh. But then at the same point, some people put way too much oil in the pan and it becomes like soggy and disgusting. But if you can get like that perfectly cooked Thai scone, it is great. I love it. And then the square sausage, it's pretty self-explanatory. Lorne sausage, as it's properly known. And then haggis, which we just mentioned. But on top of that, you've got your typical like bacon, link sausage, eggs, black pudding, tomatoes, not too keen, mushrooms, not too keen, beans, toast, and if you're feeling extra hungry, a roll. Some people have hash browns with them. I don't know about that. I don't know if that constitutes as part of the full breakfast. Any of those items that I can get over and we have like a full Scottish breakfast, it's great. Because the German breakfast, I'm trying to get used to. It's not quite for me. The typical like breads and cheeses. I do like my greasy foods, shall we say. So yeah, whenever we get the chance to have a full Scottish, we'll definitely be taking it. Pretty sure it's the same website that we order the Irn-Bru from, that we also order a bunch of that stuff from. Because importing meats, I don't even know how legal that stuff is, if you're allowed to. We get it off that website, it's great, check it down below. This next one is definitely more of a UK thing. And so far I have been unable to import it, but I would love to be able to import some of this stuff. And that would be Greggs. Greggs products, whether we're talking sausage rolls, steak bakes, the yum yums, anything. Now, I know in the past I've went to Greggs before going to the airport, got a 4-pack of sausage rolls, popped them in the bag just to kind of snack on, and I've had a couple left when we've got here. That's probably the closest we've had to importing them. You can't really get them fresh. I do know that Iceland, a retail store in the UK, they are partnered with Greggs, I think, and they sell Greggs products, but they're frozen. Now, I don't think we'd be able to get them over in time unless we somehow took like a freezer bag. But again, I don't know the whole logistics on that. Bit of a nightmare, but if I could get Greggs here, it'd be great. German bakeries, as amazing as they are, like truly mean that. German bakeries are some of my favourite in the world, but there's just that little something about Greggs. It's probably the nostalgia, probably that kind of childhood taste. I've grown up with Greggs. It's been a classic throughout the years. But if I could import Greggs products to Germany, it'd be a game changer. Coming up after that, we do have what I refer to as diluting juice. Now, I have mentioned this in previous videos, but I can't seem to find diluting juice anywhere. And by diluting juice, I mean like squash or cordial, as some people call it. But I call it diluting juice because you put the juice in and you dilute it with water. It makes sense. My Scottish is coming out a wee bit. Yeah, like, it's just, again, very, very simple. You put a bit of concentrated liquid in and you top it up with water and it tastes great without being too bad for your teeth. It's nice. Kind of adds that little bit of extra flavour to your water. My favourite go-tos are typically Vimto and Ribena. And I know the wife has not long discovered Vimto and Ribena and she adores it as well. But again, we get that from the same website as we do all the other products, because importing those, unless we're taking a suitcase, is pretty rough. We usually just take a backpack, clothes and that. It's nice and simple. But diluting juice. And again, I've asked before, but if anybody does know, if you can get diluting juice here in Germany, it tends to be more syrups, but they seem to be for like your soda streams and stuff. I don't know if that'll still work. If that would work, let me know. And then last on this list is, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure on the correct name to use for these. I've known them by many, many different names. You've got what I usually call an Empire biscuit, but they can also be referred to as, ironically, German biscuits. Funny that I'm wanting to import them. And I've also seen them as double biscuits. I don't know why they were called a double biscuit. I kind of get it, because it's like a biscuit, a layer of jam, another biscuit, and then coated with ice and sugar, and then usually you've got like a wee jelly bit on top. I'm kind of realising that a lot of this on this list are just like childhood favourites, really. Items that I've grown up with that I miss when I'm over here in Germany. and that you just can't overly get. A very random list, I will be perfectly honest. I don't know how this video's turned out. I just wanted to make it to kind of think about all the different things that I miss from Scotland. Thankfully, Scotland isn't too far away. So a nice little weekend trip is way more than possible. But if you did like this video, make sure to leave me a comment down below if you've tried any of these Scottish products. And why not check out this video here that YouTube seems to think you'll like.